USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Whether it's a movie night or just midday, Skinny Pop is a salty snack that keeps on giving. Made with just 3 simple ingredients for an irresistibly delicious taste and a large serving size that lasts. Deliciously popped, perfectly salted. Skinny Pop, popular for a reason. Shop Skinny Pop now.
And welcome back to the Boundary Corner podcast, along with my partners Brian Siegler and Jonathan Talley. I'm Curtis Wilson, and this episode is brought to you by Dr. Jeremy Counts down at the Main Street Pharmacy in Blacksburg, your friendly neighborhood pharmacy, 301 South Main Street, Blacksburg, Virginia. Fellas,
what is going on, man?
We back.
We're
inching closer and closer.
We are officially
we back to doing this every week, so that's how you know we're about to punch it, because when we go in every week, you know we got content coming in, you know we got games about to happen, you know that things are about to get real for the Hokies.
Yep, I agree. I mean, you're just ready, man. I mean, I think we got some football, this weekend, and I got some high school games to go to, some middle school games to go to. So it's wide open, man. It's wide open. And that's what you want. Best time of year.
It's 100% on that tally, man. It's games going everywhere. You driving by schools now, you seeing the kids out there practicing. We get more and more news from every single pundit in the college football world. We're seeing more interviews. Andy Bitter, David Cunningham, all the guys at Tech Sideline and the writers down in Roanoke at practice, seeing the stuff every day. It's tough to hold down because it is officially week 0. We got games, like you said, Tally. We got games this weekend. That one Saturday afternoon, I'm hoping. I know Brian's not going to be at home. I'm going to try to get in front of the TV and watch that game because I want to see what Georgia Tech looks like, and and SMU later that night, because although we don't play SMU this year, they're members of the ACC. They're going to be playing teams we are playing, right?
Yeah, and those are 2 teams that people are kind of high on.
Exactly.
Well, 3 teams. Georgia Tech. Some people got Georgia Tech as a pretty good team. Maybe one of our losses. Again, some people. And Florida State's always good in the ACC as long as they're here. Till they leave, I guess. And then, like you said, SMU, man, a lot of people are talking about SMU is a dark horse team this year. So it'll be good. Good week 0, man. Great week 0.
Yep, yeah, really. I mean, it's one of those, you got some good matchups. Like you're going to see, all right, so you got Georgia Tech. Are they a team on the rise? Is Florida State, have they retooled the way everybody thinks they have? Yeah. And like you said, some of those unknown anomalies from an ACC conversation as far as SMU. I mean, it's not a matchup that's going to, I think, test them, but it is their kind of intro into being a ACC conference team. We get to see them a little bit, and I'm looking forward to that team in particular, seeing how they kind of move forward once they get into conference play.
100%. And we are actually at the end of the telecast tonight. We are going to pick those. It is our big screeners games of the week. We only got 2 to pick from, so we didn't have to scurry up and down the lineup card to decide what we're going to do. Later this evening, also, we are going to go through the schedule, and we are going to make our predictions of the Hokies season record. We're going to break it down. If you didn't join us last year, we're going to break it down 4 games at a time. and kind of get to the end there. Kind of a little bit knowing the enemy, how we're feeling about the Hokies playing them. And then we're going to look at the position groups earlier tonight. And it's sort of something, if you're new here, this is the first time, because I'm looking up in the left corner. We got a lot more people watching than we normally have. We appreciate everybody out there. Every Tuesday of the season after the Hokies have played, we do Tell the Truth Tuesday. And basically, we recap the game. We ask what went well, what went bad, did anything happen we weren't ready for, and what can we do better moving forward. We're going to do that every week. This week, we're kind of telling the truth of how we are feeling towards each position group on the Hokies. Stock up, stock down, or we feeling level. So that's what we got in store tonight. But, fellas, I want to kick it off because out of nowhere, recruiting picked back up. Out of nowhere for me. Maybe I ain't been paying attention, but when you land a top 10 player in the state of North Carolina, a top 247 player in Snoop Peterkin, 6'2", 172 out of Mount Tabor, a wide receiver in Winston-Salem, like that sends some ripples because, Tally, I know you follow. Everybody was saying he was going to NC State.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't pay attention to him because I thought he was going to NC State. But then you got to realize, man, you got Funtel Mines on your team. You're never out of it. So,
never out of it.
And another thing, I didn't know the kid played basketball as well.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's our second dual sport athlete in this class.
That's pretty cool.
So Micah Matthews and now Snook Peterton. And I mean, this is one that I think we made some good progress late in the process. Because it looked like y'all said, he was NC State bound, and all of a sudden, so a couple visits happened. There's some whistles. It's like, hey, the Hokies are in play here. The Hokies are in play here. Next thing you know, right. We get that commitment, and that's big, man. Because I mean, that's again, Fontel going out there and pretty much getting the guys that he wants. Anybody that he gets really deep into the recruiting process with, he seems to be able to pull in. And I mean, that's a credit to him. Honestly, at this point, I mean, I hope it doesn't have to happen, but you got to make him, if you can do it, the highest paid non-coordinator assistant in the country.
It's like the $1 million man. Everybody's got a price.
He's pretty close to earning it. He's earning it on the field. He's earning it in recruiting. So
100%.
Hard to argue with that.
I don't know. I know this happened Saturday, and we're busy. Tally's got his son playing football. We're getting ready. We've sent our kids back to school here. Did y'all get to see any tape yet on him?
On
Peterkin, Snook.
You just go look at the first clip on any of them. I mean, it's been I've looked at a couple of things, but from the one I seen, I think it was his huddle tape. Go look at the first clip. He's running a kickback. He's running a punt back, and it's stiff arm one guy, get to the end, get to the sideline, and outrun everybody. At 6'2", 180, 170, and he played basketball. It's Trey Turner. You know what I'm saying? Same kind of body style, kind of speed from what I've seen. And then you get into a couple of other clips. It's like he's running away from people. And I didn't watch a whole bunch. I'm not gonna lie, but again, it don't take you 2 hours to look at somebody and see if they can play ball.
There you go.
First clip, running a punt back. Second clip, somebody threw him a fade, and he caught it over his outside shoulder, dove. Third clip, another diving catch that's 40 yards. Fourth clip, runs a kickoff back. That's enough. What else do I need to see?
Yep.
And Fontel wants you, so.
Yep. And this is another kid that seems to be football first in terms of like, you got basketball, you got football, but he seems to be a football first guy. You love to see that. And I'm excited for him, man, because I think he is the kind of Trey Turner, that do it all type receiver, kind of do a little bit of everything for you. And I think we had another cycle where you got kind of a traditional slot guy, you got kind of a red zone threat, and now you kind of got this do it all receiver. So we're again stacking bodies and getting them where they make sense in how we're trying to play offense and what our scheme is designed to do, and kind of mixing up their skill sets a little bit.
100%. All right. Before we flip it over to the next commitment, just a shout out to everybody listening tonight. Some of our regulars in here. Got Thomas out here talking about the team. Chris Lester, always good to hear from you, man. Our buddy Clark down in Roanoke, and Mr. Drones. So appreciate you guys as always for listening. But let's talk about the next gentleman that committed a little bit earlier this week. Luke Stewie, a 6'2", 195-pound athlete, classified as an athlete, out of Avon Lake, Ohio. Just a 3-star, a little bit lower than what we've seen, but background, do a little research. His dad, Michael, was a wide receiver. Looked up the stats, had like 700 yards, played 3 seasons back from 94 to 97. Obviously, if y'all didn't see, Dwight shouted out him the other day, so obviously he's got that. And again, it's Ohio. We always, me and Brian, long before Tally joined, we always talk about it's like, if you can get some from Ohio, you get some from Pennsylvania, a couple from New Jersey, and then a couple from Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina, then you're doing shit right. Because you go into those football states and you're pulling out, don't care where they're ranked. Now, anything on this kid yet that y'all seen or read about since we landed him?
So this seems to be one that, outside of the legacy piece, which is I think a big part of this, and that's kind of why he was on the radar. They had him into a camp. Apparently, he really looked really good at the camp, and I think a lot of times guys that are in that kind of lower 3-star ranking, they go to a camp, they either find a good fit or are able to kind of really go there and really stand out in a particular way. That's how a lot of these guys get these offers. And I mean, that seems to be what happened for him.
Yeah, definitely. I talked to my son about that a lot, and just, sports in general, you never know what a coach is 100% looking for. I mean, a lot of times they'll tell you, but every now and then it's a skill that can't be taught, whether it's high pointing the ball or whether it's the way you speak, whether it's the way you carry yourself and you're a leader through drills. It's something. So it's no telling like what they seen, but from what I've seen, I think he plays both sides of the ball. I've seen him on some defense as well. Ball skills are pretty good. That wide receiver room is packed, man. Like, if you want to get on the field over there, you're going to have to do some work. So I ain't saying that he can't, but I'm just saying with him being able to play offense and defense, I mean, that helps him out to find a place on the field, and again, like Brian said, him being a legacy probably is a big piece to that, which is good. I like to see stuff like that, because the worst thing can happen is that somebody loves Tech and they played at Tech. They have a kid. He goes somewhere else, and then he ends up turning into Steph Curry. I mean, it's true. I'd rather be on the sidelines than be in the Olympics, and we be saying, hey, we should have. So if somebody is, that's part of recruiting. That's part of building the culture. So y'all keep doing what you're doing. Go get Lauren Johnson's other son too next. The legacy too.
There we go.
Yeah, 100%. And looking at him, Tally, you're right. He does play both sides. He's playing a lot of inside slot receiver, but playing like a freak. Looking at the tape here, and it's on my left screen, he's playing free and he's playing strong. So he's playing inside the box and outside the box. And one of them was a pick. He went straight over top of a guy and just took the ball from him. I mean, so it is what it is. So, again, 2 more recruit pickups there. Hokies, currently 36th ranked in the country at like 87.8. They're creeping back to that 88 again, even with the 83. And I know some people like recruit rankings don't mean jack shit. Well, I think we can all tell you, look who makes the playoffs. Look who's always winning 9-10 games. And when we were winning 9 and 10 games, those recruiting rankings were a little bit higher than everybody thought. So It does matter. All right, fellas. Kind of the 2-parter of why we are here tonight. Let us talk about the Hokie position groups and if that stock is up if that stock is down or if it's like this. And by all means, if you're out there listening tonight and you feel like you got an opinion up or down, throw it in the chat of how you're feeling. We'll definitely throw it in there. So I am going to start. Got to do this right. I'm going to start with Brian Tally because when I get to the last one, I got to lead with him first. That's why.
No, that's fine with me.
You still giving us?
I'm watching the chat, man. I'm watching the chat. I need the chat to help me out tonight.
We need the chat to help him out. Need to help all us out. All right, but we're gonna start. Where else will we start? It is going to be the quarterback room. And so, Mr. Brian Siegler, quarterback room. Stock up, stock down, same.
I mean, it's stock up, man. It's stock way up. There's three things that are playing a factor here. Number one, you're starting the season with the correct quarterback.
Unlike last year.
With the correct quarterback, and you're starting the season with a quarterback that has started games for you in this system.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. Number two, you now have a backup that, regardless of who wins the job, a backup that I think is a better fit for what we're doing already with Kyron Drones compared to what Grant Wells offered last year. 100%. So whether that next man up is Pop, whether that next man up is Colin Schlee, we'll know soon as far as who's winning that backup job. But whoever that is going to be a better slot in fit than what we had last year.
Yep.
And then number three is just depth. I feel like we have a lot better situation from a depth perspective than we had last year because of a lot of what I said in two, but now you've got three guys that have had some experience in this system, playing in some games. Colin obviously started a couple games elsewhere. So you got a guy with that type of experience coming in. You got Pop with a little more experience. It's just top to bottom, a better quarterback room than what we started with last year.
Tally, what about you? Up, down, same?
Oh, yeah. No, definitely up. Kind of like Brian said, I mean, we had so many unknowns last year. It's probably going to be a lot of ups. But like I said, we had so many unknowns last year, like going into the season. And it's like, well, we hope. Well, we hope. It's like this year, it's like, this is happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to happen. So, again, I mean, y'all know. Everybody watching knows, man. But I will say something, me and Chris, shout out to Chris Lester, great guy, man. He's a good friend to me. We talk a lot about sports, but family as well. And he said something that was pretty profound to me when we got to talking about Grant Wells. He said, and I was one of the people who was, Grant's a great kid. I just didn't think he had the skill to get us to the next level, and that was no knock on him. But Chris, again, me and him were talking, and he said something, like I said, that was pretty profound. He said, all of these guys that are on the roster committed after watching Grant Wells play, after watching that team go set 3 games, and 3-7, whatever we were, 8.
3-8.
Yeah, after going 3-8, Grant was the quarterback. All of these guys that came in, Kyron came in, Allie Jennings came in, because they knew that this offense could go to another level. So Grant Wells didn't really hinder anything. He was and I don't want to say he was a stepping stone, but he took the chance to come to Virginia Tech to go through those games. And we were competitive. We played a lot of games that he played in with some kids that, where else would they would have started in Power 5? You don't know. And we were competitive in those games, and so it at least gave us a backbone to show recruits, hey, if you come in, we can get to that next level. So Tebow could go talk to Kyron Drone. So Tebow can go talk to Quan Felton and say, hey, this is kind of what it looks like, but this is the X's and O's. We need the Jimmys and Joes. You know what I mean? So I gotta give him a little bit of credit on that. I thought that was a different perspective that I hadn't thought of. That was pretty good. And then, like I said, back to what we're talking about now. Kyron steps in and he does what he does last year, and his stock's up tremendous. And then they go in, they get a veteran backup to go along with the young guys. that we have in the stable as well. So just kind of bring some balance after your starter. When we get up on those games, when we go and beat these teams 42-7, like we know it's going to happen, you can get our starters out and you can get some backup, some work, and they can go in and they continue to get their reps and work on their craft as well. So stock up on that room.
All right. I'm with y'all. Stock up on this one as well. And a lot of what Brian and Tally both said, a lot of that's intermingling, but I also think this, and I always think this perspective, there's 3 quarterbacks. Kyron's getting 1 reps. The backup, whoever that is going to get a little bit of 1 rep. They're going to work with 2s primarily. But it's whoever the 3rd quarterback is running practice squad normally. So if that is Pop Watson, that is unbelievable for him, right? Pop, go out there, run the offense, get those reps. Don't matter who you're playing with. You're going to get live reps because you're the practice squad guy. And that's awesome. If Pop wins a job and he's the backup, wonderful. Love it. But then to what Tally just said, now you're putting a veteran on practice squad who's probably going to know exactly what to do in every situation, which is going to be getting us better prepared for the season. So that stock room is way up. You got Davy Belfort, who came on campus. You see some other young guys in the recruiting class. So I'm not even talking this season, just in general. That is through the roof. All right, Tally, I'm going to go, and the quarterback's got to turn around and hand the ball off, so I'm going to hand the ball off to you. The running back room, what are we feeling like there right now? Stock up, stock down?
You know what? I'm going to say stock up as well on this. We got some people that come back from last year. I liked Bryce Duke. I hated to see him leave, but I can understand. But I like what I seen from Prelude in the spring game. I know spring games don't matter and all this, but I'm just saying if we can use the plays that I seen him run, I don't know if it's him. I think he can do it, but the plays that I seen him run where we're using the running back side of the backfield and doing some different things like that, I'd like to see that. So I'd say the running back room is stock up, and then we can keep Malachi healthy. We've seen him flash a lot over the last 2 years, but then injury hit. So we're gonna go stock up.
Brian Siegler.
I'm gonna go stock up too. I like what I've seen from Coney. I think you're gonna get a student that you 100% know how to use in the offense. I feel like the start of the season we were kind of working him in, kind of seeing what he did best, where what plays were going to be the home runs for him. I think as we got into that later in the season, we really utilized him a lot better. So I think you're going to see a better utilized Tuden. I think Malachi seems to be at his most healthy that I've seen him in the last 2 years heading into this season. I think that's a key element to what we're looking at here. And like I said, Coney has shown me something. I think he's going to be a really good complement to that 1-2 punch. And we'll see if some of the other guys like Prelo get in there. We'll see if they make some hay as well. So I'm very interested to see what goes on with that room past those kind of first 2 or 3 guys. But I definitely think stock up this year.
All right, I'm with y'all. My percentage, it's a very small up. Based on what Tuden and Thomas did and what kind of Prelude did in the spring. Because after the first 2 guys, it is the unknown. We don't know what Coney's going to exactly be like on game day. Can PJ Prelude take some of those, those gimmick / trick plays that they kind of ran with him? Can they get that into a game element? If they can, it's going to be higher than where I am right now, but it's just a little bit up. It's not like the quarterback room, even though I like the guys behind them. It's just, it doesn't have that dynamic where you just feel like, man, this room's really unbelievable. 1, 2, 3. It's just like 1's really, really good. 2 is healthy. Okay. 3, if they run the right plays for them. So just a little bit up. All right. We got to chime in real quick. Not on this room, but Chris Lester wanted to say something. Way up for the quarterback room.
I don't disagree, Chris.
I don't disagree at all. Either. It was like stocks is like through the roof. All right, Brian Siegler. I'm giving you like the easiest one. The
You're
easiest one.
one?
The easiest one. This is the easiest one. I'm timing how long it's going to take us. Wide receiver room.
Way up. I mean, there's really no other way to phrase it, man. I mean, you throw Ollie Jennings back into a mix of very effective receiving core that you had last year. You got Aiden Green coming on, and then you got guys like Brody and Chance coming in as freshmen, looking to make a little bit of noise as well. You throw in a Chance Fitzgerald here or there and see if he's taking another step in development, and maybe either one or two other guys that we don't even know anything about yet. Tucker Holloway, if he gets healthy through the season, he makes some sort of impact on this group. So I mean,
keep naming.
There are guys on guys, man.
Keep naming them. We left out Stephen Gosnell. We left out Aiden Green. I mean, there's names on top of names on top of names, and then you got them stacked up enough where you got senior leadership. Then you got guys right behind them. Then you got the young freshmen coming in that are able to watch the older guys. Like, it is amazing that
room
Fontel has built that room. The coaching staff in general, but if y'all new here, if you're new to Virginia Tech and Hokie Nation, like, we ain't used to that many athletes being in that wide receiver. Now, we've had some good wide receivers come through here. I'm not saying that, but when you look up and down that roster and you look at, when you get to college, the stars go away. So we ain't just thinking about the stars right now. We're thinking about what we've seen proven on the field, and then the guys that have come in, the freshmen that have come in, we see them going against good defensive players in spring, in fall practice, and they look like they belong there. So that is way stock up.
Just 2 seasons ago, we were talking about this being arguably the worst wide receiver core in
college football,
Power 5, right? And that's no disrespect to the guys that were here that were a part of that. It just the decimated roster that we had at the end of the Fuente era, especially at the skill position group, was crazy.
Oh yeah.
And in 2.5 cycles, really, you went from that to arguably the best wide receiver core in the ACC, especially when we talk about depth.
Yeah,
I mean, it is crazy. It is crazy.
All right, we got multiple people chiming in on this. And before I give my opinion, let me throw this up here. We got Kevin. Yeah, to the moon, the bad boys out there. Yep, way up. Low country living, absolutely all the way up. And I'm with y'all. This is one of those things where you buy a stock at like $3, you forget about it, and you walk around like a year later and it's like worth $800, and you're like, whoa, what happened? This thing was not worth that. And Tally, you said list them. Felton, Jennings, Lane, Gosnell, Aiden Green, Chance Fitzgerald, Brody, Chance. What about XTB? You saw him a couple times last year break huge run. You didn't mention him.
We couldn't even get that deep.
You didn't even get to him.
Didn't even think about that name. It's crazy.
And you've got guys like Takai Heath that we've heard about doing good things before he got back.
Takai Heath, forgot his name.
Jeezy.
He was last year he got hurt. Like he was ahead of some of the other guys. He got hurt. Like that room is super deep, man. And what that creates when you got that going on is competition. You can't just go to practice and chill. You got to go to practice and you got to go to work because the next guy's trying to get on the field. So,
you
can see the competition, man. You can see everybody wants it. Like it's crazy.
All righty. All right, Tally, back to you on this one. And tight end room. Your room that you played in, up, down, level.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Let me see what Miss Sarah here is talking about. Miss Sarah, welcome to the show. We got to correct you because if you're talking about Malik Washington, he did not come from Virginia Tech. He came from another place that has Virginia in it, the University of Virginia. So he's a great player, but he didn't come from here, and we don't like them. We like him, but we don't like them. I didn't see that comment and wanted to say that, but we on what tight end room?
Tight end room, up, down, level.
Yeah, so y'all can beat me up. I'm gonna go down, man. I gotta go down. And the reason I'm gonna go down is because we lost Wright, like he left. Now I'll say this. I think that because some people say, well, we get Gallo back and we seen Benji, they were gonna be here regardless. Like they're here. Mm-hmm. So you could interchange them. You could take Wright out and put them in if we're gonna run the ball because they are better blocking backs than he was.
They are.
But at the same time, it was like he was a defense, like he was a mismatch. You know what I'm saying? Like him being on the field, he was a mismatch. So I think we have the wide receivers that can take those catches, which is great. But we're just talking about that tight end room. When you lose a tight end that was, I think he was third on the team in receptions last year, no matter how you slice it, go back and watch the tape. He did what he was supposed to do in the pass game. So no disrespect to the guys. I like what I'm seeing out of St. Germain. I like what I'm seeing out of Benji. I think Benji's probably the most athletic out of the tight ends. Gallo's gonna bring some senior leadership, so that's good. He's been there 9 years. I just hope he's healthy and everything. He's able to go out the way he wants to go out. But I'm gonna go stock down on that just because of that reason, because he left.
Brian,
it's stock down, but it's just a little bit. And it's mostly to do with what Tally said. I mean, you got to replace a lot of production from a receiving standpoint with Daquan Wright moving on to Ole Miss. So that's a big one. Everybody that listens to this podcast, they know how I felt about Daquan Wright. So we don't need to rehash all that. They know that I knew he was a dude. So there's no way that you lose that off your team and there's not some degree of drop off there. Now, what I think is going to happen is that there's going to be some replacing of that production, but it's going to be by committee. You're going to see more guys get involved in the offense in more specialized ways instead of having a guy like Wright that could do pretty much everything in the passing game.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get Gallo back, a little more of the short intermediate stuff. A guy like Zeke Wimbish can do those deep crossers, those seams. So I mean, you kind of end up, replacing him in terms of role with a few other guys, but in terms of just having a one guy that can go out there and just be a mismatch nightmare, you don't really have that anymore in the passing game. But I think overall blocking, the level is going to raise up a little bit. That's why I said it's only going to be a little bit of a difference, but I definitely think it's a small step back in that position group.
Yeah, 100% on that. It is stock down. When you lose a guy, Tally stat line was 28 receptions, 366 yards, 13.1 per reception. That's a huge thing to lose. Now, Benji Gosnell had his flashes last year, had some good plays, and we're getting Gallo back, but it's Gallo off a knee. And like you said, he ain't no spring chicken.
Right.
Gallo's an older guy. Gallo did have over 600 yards just 2 years ago. So it's definitely there, but it's down because Wright was so dynamic. Like, and as far as you say, well, he wasn't the best blocker. You know what? If you threw that man on the field with the big three right now, I mean, you're twisting up defenses because against a nickel corner or against a smaller cornerback, Wright could block. You go out there against the linebackers, ask him to do a hard chip off, it won't going to be there. But it is stocked down, unfortunately, for that room. All righty. Brian, we are back to you. And obviously, clearly, there's only one group left. I also wanted to start with you because I needed to hear Tally's second point of view after hearing you.
I'm gonna be calm.
He's going to be calm. I want you to be calm. But, Brian, what you've read, what you've heard, where is this offensive line at right now?
I'm going to say that the stock is up. It's not a resounding up, but I think we're in a much better position than we were even at the end of last year for several reasons. Number one, you bring in a guy like Cunningham that at worst is going to be a very good depth piece for this unit, right? And then you've got two other guys in Brody Meadows and Laith Ganem that seem to be coming on in fall camp. After post-spring, they're pushing some of the guys on that starting line for some playing time. So now you're talking about 8 guys, with maybe a ninth, slipped in there in terms of depth. Whereas last year, I think we were more like maybe 6, at times 7, but
6.
mostly 6 for most of that year. So you get a little bit of wiggle room if there is a guy or two that go down this year, and that I think that is where the improvement is the most, is having a little bit of wiggle room with this offensive line if there is an injury here or there, not feeling like it's the end of the world. But in terms of front end, we've got to hope that they actually take a step talent-wise, because I don't think that we're going to see a whole lot of new faces on the line.
Jonathan Talley.
Oh, it's on me?
It's on you.
Well, I'm going to actually say stock up a little bit, because as Curtis put it, if you buy stock at $3, sometimes it's got to go up. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe if it's up just 5 cents.
It might go up to 305. So I will say, from last year, you go back and you look at the early games, Tootin was getting hit 3-4 times in the backfield. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't do nothing. We couldn't get no rushing yards. I think at one time we might have had like 20 rushing yards one game, and then maybe against Purdue, and then Kyron breaks a run and had more rushing yards in that run than we did in the whole game or something. It's crazy stats for what we were doing. But again, the offense changes a little bit. People get a little bit more comfortable. We didn't lose nobody. So it ain't like we had a stud that we lost and we're like, okay, well, we just got to replace him. So you got pretty much everybody back. So at least you got some more experience. You know what I'm saying? You got some experience, and you got some people behind you that if you don't get your ass in gear, you going to come out. You ain't just stuck in there, You're seeing different people get in there. And then like even with Cunningham, people's like, is he going to start? I seen him. He can play. I seen him in the spring game. Again, you can watch somebody play. If you watch offensive line and you watch the feet, you can tell if somebody can move their feet or not. It ain't that easy, but if you watch it enough, you can say, okay, yeah, he can move a little bit for that size. He can play. So if he's not 100% the starter and he's having to push somebody, that means that there's some good competition going on. That means somebody don't want to lose their spot. So I'm okay with that. So I would say up slightly until I see a game. But we will be in Nashville here shortly, and I will be looking at it close up and personal. So we'll figure out how the stock is after I leave that. But right now we're going to say stock up a little bit.
Absolutely. So a couple things before I speak here. There's a few people chiming in. Big up from Thomas. We got bigger, stronger, more experience. It is more experience. Chris Lutcher got 2 things to say: Coach Fook for president, and a little bit more about Coach Trook. That's a big piece right there. And I'm with Tally. I'm stocked up a little bit. Because when we kind of got the right stuff going, we looked better. We were by no means like that elite top 25 line where, you know what, if you beat us, we're just going to have a bad day. It was that we were maybe average to maybe slightly above average. And now from the reports we're getting, David Cunningham was with us last week feeling like it could be 8. That report that came out at the end of last week about basically there was a day where it was Laith Gannum, Little Moore at center, Big Moore back at right guard. So now, again, it's that depth. We joke about that nickel, but for what this team was last year, if it's just a marginal increase of being a little bit better on the offensive line, we saw what happened when this thing got going right. If it's just marginally better, that's a long way. That's a long way from where it was at the beginning of this line last year. All right, let's flip it over to the defensive side of the ball now. And let's start with the defensive ends, Brian. Where are you feeling? Up, down, same? I got a feeling you ain't going to say down because shit. I don't think you can say down.
I'm not going to say down. I'm going to say up. I'm going to say it's a marginal up. What I think we know what we're going to get with APR, right? We know we've seen him. We saw what he could do last year. We know what we're getting. I think the big thing is that I think having a full off season with kind of understanding who our personnel is, I think you're going to see big jumps from Nelson and Burgos, and that's where we're going to see that stock go a little bit higher. And I think you got guys like McCray and Jordan McDonald still kind of working in there as well that give you a little bit of added depth behind those those first three. So I think the stock's up. I don't think it's up significantly, but I think it's it's going to be a nice little steady uptick there.
Let me ask Tally. Let me ask you this before I flip it over. How much more can it go up defensive end wise when the defensive ends did what they did last year on a national stage with sacks and tackle for loss?
Well, it's kind of hard to put it into words what it is, but the main thing is, and it's for me, I'm gonna just go ahead and put the line together because it's so hard. When you have somebody who is, I'll say either stock has to be up or stock is the same, which is fine. But when you have somebody who has a great year like APR did, and people say, well, you know what you're getting with him, well, you really don't, because he could take a step forward, which would be awesome, or he could be right where he was last year because people are doubling him, and then people are doing different things to make sure that they're game planning for him. And then somebody else, you got other people on the line that's going to step up, and they could take those tackle for loss. They could take those sacks. So even if his sack numbers dip just a little bit, just because he's there, somebody else is going to eat. Just because he's there, a linebacker may not get somebody to that second level because they are saying, you guys don't leave him. Stay on him and let that linebacker – we're going to try to make the linebacker miss with our running back. We're going to put them one-on-one or something. And then the linebacker goes and makes a tackle. I know that's a lot at one time, but I'm just saying APR is exactly what he needs to be. He is a distraction for an offensive coordinator. Before he even steps on the field, I promise you, everybody on that offense is looking for 52.
You damn right they are.
So that I got to say stock up just because of what he's done and how he's made it and because he's getting in people's heads. But like I said, don't be alarmed if it's a couple of games and you don't see a sack or a multi-game sack for him. We got to look at that as a whole because of him being there makes that line so hard to block.
All right. Well, let me do this because you said you wanted to roll them into it. I'll talk about both sides at the end. What about the defensive tackle room, man? I mean, you got Fuga coming back, and you mentioned just a second ago, everybody's looking for 52. Well, then there's going to be somebody that pulls up the tape and says, y'all realize number 16, that mother is a damn all ACC D tackle. We need to block him too. Where are you D tackle room? Is that up?
I mean, it's got to be up because, again, I think that the kids last year, young men last year, did a great job. They did. Like, we had Feldarius on here. We had a couple of people that felt like if he took a step forward, it was going to be a big year for him and that defensive line. And when he got his opportunity, he went in and he did what he had to do. Like, he shined. But it was more of a collective unit thing that they did. Pollard was in, Kendricks was in, Fuga was helping, Feldarius was in doing his thing. Like you just said, the same with APR. They're going to have to look at 16 and say, what are we going to do about him in the middle? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we going to chip him? Are we going to have to send a fullback at him? Are we going to not be able to run a screen because he's fast enough to get to the linebacker, to get to the quarterback if we let him through? Like, it's a lot of planning that goes along with having those players. And I don't think that we are aware of we have stars on the team now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't just mean just we got good players. Like, you got nationally ranked players on your team that people are going to game plan for. Like, if I was the other defensive end, Keyshawn Burgos, Cole Nelson had a pretty good year last year. Whoever's on that other side, they better be licking their chops, man, because they're going to be looking to that other side and worried about him, and it's your time to eat on that side. So it should be fun, man. I got to say stock up on the whole line, but for those reasons.
Got it. Siegler, D-tackle.
Man, so, you got Fuga coming back, got an extra year here. He's probably going to be a captain. Whether he's a guy that has that or designation like we were talking about on the preview panel or whatever, he's going to be in the steady rotation for this group. But then you bring in 3 key transfers, Aeneas Peebles, you got Kamari Copeland from JUCO, you got Kelvin Gilliam coming in. You also got some of the other guys that are already on your roster taking another step. You got Malachi Madison, you got Gerard Johnson. You're throwing in a youngster like Emmett Laws into this group. This room is way, way up in my opinion. And I think it's because of that depth piece that we're talking about. I think last year we had 3 to 4 guys that we could rely on consistently. They were steady eddies that you do what you could get out from them. I think Aeneas Peebles raises the ceiling of this unit. And I think all the other guys they brought in raised the potential level for this unit. Plus, you have the added depth of being able to go really 6 deep at this group instead of 4 or 5 deep.
Yep, that's the big piece right there. And real quick, got just a couple folks chiming in. The defensive ends up. Burgos expecting a big year, Low Country. Yeah, to me, for the defensive ends, it's slightly up. I wish C.J. McCray was healthy. I wish we knew right now that leg was completely healthy where he could play. I would feel even better about that room. Defensive tackle, to what Brian just said, that room went from being where it was really 3 cog pieces to where you feel like, is it 4, is it 5, is it 6 that can actually play? And to what Chris is saying it right here, because the honest truth is, and I know JC Price, we talked to him, y'all. I got a feeling there's going to be times JC is going to stick Peoples and going to stick APR on the same side and say, put everybody over there. Yep. Give me one-on-ones with some of these young guys and make them pay. Because the second, it's not if. It's not the if. It's when that D-line makes them pay, pops the quarterback, causes a fumble, massive tackle for loss. They have to sit there and say, well, if these guys are going to eat all day, can we continually chip and continually send the fullback and keep the tight end in? Or are we eventually going to have to play it straight up? And then that's what we want, right? Yep. That's the decision.
And we've said all these names and haven't really even talked about Curtis Perry yet and how he might be a situational piece in this group.
Situational 3-tech, situational big end. So again, it's up. I ain't putting it at the wide receiver level of up, but it's up. All right, Brian, let's flip back. Linebacker room. And did you get a chance to see some of those interviews last weekend?
Which ones?
With Lawson and with all those guys. It seems like everybody, with the exception of Brumfield, is all over the damn place.
Yeah, it looks like they're definitely cross training that will and star position pretty heavily. You got Brumfield that's kind of locked in. It sounds like he's going to be kind of that guy at Mike. You got guys playing star, guys playing will. You got Kelly at star. You got Caleb Spencer playing a couple spots. You got Caleb Woodson playing a couple spots. I think outside of Keonta Jenkins and Sam Brumfield, everybody else is all over the place.
100%.
Keonta's going to probably be that first guy at star. And then Brumfield there at Mike. And we'll see who lines up at will, and we'll see how much they interchange that position, and we'll see how much they move guys from star to will and back. And I just love the depth that we've created because, you got guys like Gabe Williams in the mix here. You got even Jaden McDonald still in the mix there. Jaden Keller still getting his perennial fall camp mention of being in the mix. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of where the chips fall with those 2 positions. I think we're pretty solid. Brumfield, Mike, Keonta, the first guy up at star. How those rotations work after that is anybody's guess.
So up.
It's still up, still up because of the depth.
Tally.
I'll say up off of one clip. I seen Keontae Jenkins try to take somebody's head off the other day on like a jet sweep or something. I don't know why he's doing that to his own players in practice, but if I seen that, so I mean, I gotta say up. But now, realistically, I mean, who did you lose? You didn't lose nobody. You brought some people in to help, and you got some more experience. And again, you brought some people in with some experience. You brought in Brumfield. You brought in, like you said, Caleb Spencer. Woodson's a year older. Keontae Jenkins is the veteran in the room. Like, I didn't even mention Lawson. You know what I'm saying? Jaden Keller. Somebody's got to step up. And again, it goes back to your defensive line. It's a team sport. If you can keep those big offensive linemen from getting to that second level, getting out there and mashing on your linebackers, and then they just need to run and stop the ball and come downhill and fill holes.
Yep.
That's going to make that room better. So it's an overall thing, but just as that room, I say that the backers are up as well.
All right, Thomas agrees with you with saying the backers are up. Chris laying a bold prediction. Hokies going to increase. Chris, they do that. They do 50, Chris. That means they will increase 1 sack per game from last year. 1 additional sack. And I know some people say, well, that doesn't sound like a lot. 1 additional sack a game.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Top 10. That's a shit ton of sacks.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I think that
half a sack would be a respectable number. 1 sack is a big jump, but I think they could. I think the potential is there, and I think we've talked about it. I think ad nauseum at this point with what it means to have a guy like Brumfield that is a veteran Mike that knows how to be the quarterback of the defense, because that was not an asset the linebacker core had at the start of last season.
And that's why, for me, that room is a significant step up because of Brumfield, because it's having that guy that knows where everyone needs to go, where everyone needs to line up, how everything needs to get done. And it's not like he has the experience. He has in-game experience. He's played against some good teams. It's one of those things. I think I said to both of y'all last year, I might have been stated a program. Nah, I don't know if I was that drunk that night. When I said how much better the linebacker group played from year 1 to year 2. And I said, you imagine if you had Dax at Mike, where a guy who knew how to line up everybody, who knew exactly where to go, even though he might not be quick enough to get there every time, but he's putting everybody in the right spots. And that's essentially what it is with Sam Brumfield coming in.
Right.
All right, Tally, give me some safety room thoughts. Up, down.
Safety room, again, I want to go up on everything, but I got to go safety room. I'm going to probably go about even on that right now. Just because I need to know if Strowman is going to get kicked out of games. I need to know if he's going to be in there or not, Shout out to Strowman. Strowman is a dog, man. He's a headhunter, but we need him on the field. We need him on the field. And we know we got some players back there, but we also need to know what do we have back there. We know we got we've heard a lot about Reddish.
Yeah.
He's a freshman. He's coming in. We heard about, some different people back there in the backside, but I'm gonna go about even just because we didn't lose anybody. We got the group, the boys are back in town. We just need everybody to be healthy and everybody to stay in the game and we don't need no targeting.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, look who joined us here.
Look who's back. Where you been, Andretti?
Andretti, man. What? The game came out. That's what it was. We didn't even play. Right? You ain't even played him.
He just coming up for air from the NCAA.
You ain't even played him yet. I gotta get with him. I ain't played him yet either.
Oh man, Brian, where are you on this room?
So, I'm right now. I'm gonna hold at steady. I'm gonna hold it the same here for this, but I think it has potential to go up. So
right.
when I'm looking at this group, Jalen Strowman, he's a dog, but like Tally said, we've seen situations, whether it's injuries or whether it's targeting, keep him off the field a little bit more than we would like. Last year in general, injuries and targeting kept our safeties off the field more than we wanted. It was already a thin group last year, especially with the youth outside of those first two. I think we're in a little bit better situation starting this year. We really have three guys with some significant experience at this point. Looking at Stroman, looking at Jones, looking at Most Phillips at this point. They played a lot of significant snaps last year. Looking for Most to take I think a pretty good step from year one to year two. I think the big question is going to be what does that rest of that safety room give us this year? Does Quinn Reddish step in there? Does Cam Fleming take a step? Are we looking at Devin Alvis doing anything? So I think those three are going to be the big question marks, and how much are we going to get from them, and how much are we going to ask to get from them, whether it be because of injuries or targeting or anything else. Because I think the first three there, I think we feel, if not super great about, we definitely feel comfortable putting them out there for significant snaps.
All right. I am going to be slightly down on this room, and it's not for the three guys that y'all talked about in Stroman, in Most Phillips, and in Jones. I think I'm more disappointed that we haven't heard names. We've only heard Reddish's name a little bit, but it's more of Devin Alvis has been here a couple years now, Fleming and Noah Jenkins, and a lot of those guys have been here a few years now, and we're not hearing them come up. And usually with safeties, usually by the second season, guys can start making names for themselves, right? And that worries me a little bit. That's why I'm slightly down, because if I had heard one of those names that we didn't hear last year and we heard this year, like in camp, or we saw something, in spring ball that Brian Talley or myself, like it caught our eye, that would make me feel better. So I'm slightly down. Now, is there potential to go up? Because I'm going to be straight up with you. Yes, Brent Pry, he loves to talk to us fans. He loves to talk to the media. He's great on the mic. He lets people come in and watch practices multiple times a week, right? We know they're getting about 20-minute segment, which is a lot of time, y'all. But the question is he got the ace in the hole, and it's one of these safeties ain't nobody talking about, that Vanderbilt game going to force a fumble, get a pick, and then we're going to be like, look, Coach being slick. Coach didn't want to talk about him because he knew he had a fourth safety in that room. That's where I'm interested. Brian, you get another easy one. Brian. I
get a layup? You give me a layup?
Well, we got to have a layup to end this segment here. How are we feeling about corners?
Up. You got another year of development for Lane. You got arguably the best cornerback in the ACC and Dorian Strong coming back in here. You got another year of development for Braylon Johnson, Dante Lovett. I'm really excited to see them grow into a bigger role in that cornerback room. And then you got guys like Penix, Williams. You got Joshua Clark as a true freshman coming in there and making some noise. I haven't even named a couple other guys. So, I mean, I think this room – yeah, I got Lovett earlier. I got Lovett in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think this room is deep right now. I think we can go about 6 deep and feel pretty confident, but I don't think we'll need to ever get that deep in the bag as long as we can stay healthy.
Tally.
You got to go up, man. You got to go up. We're going to go all the way back. I know y'all might be tired of me saying it, but I'm going to say it again until y'all get it in your heads out there in the chat. When your defensive line is better, it makes your whole defense better. Start in the trenches. When that defensive line can get on that quarterback and make him throw that ball just a split second faster than he really wants to, Dorian Strong will go get it. Mansour Delane will go get it. You got, again, like you said, Braylon Johnson back there, Dante Lovett, those guys. I've heard a lot about Christian Williams. Christian Williams was hurt last year.
Yeah, he was.
So he's back. Joshua Clark, we've seen him on a couple of flashes. I mean, a lot of these kids that these coaches have went out and got, man, they're coming in ready to play body size wise. Like most of the time from the Virginia Tech we're kind of used to, we were thinking, man, we're gonna have a couple of years of development, get the weight up. No, man, they coming in ready to play. Look at Most Phillips last year. back to what you said, Curtis, when you said who's going to be the one that flashes. Man, you never know nowadays, like with the how they've been recruiting and how these kids come in. Everybody has trainers. Everybody comes in, knowing what they need to do and have their body ready. And man, they're ready to get out there and play. So all it takes is, like you said, one play. Hey, this is your shot. I need you to go in and do your job. Boom, you go in there and get a pick. You go in there and get a fumble. Cause a fumble. The next thing you know, you get in the rotation. So I'm excited to see that. But stock's definitely up on that DB room.
Yeah, 100% the stock is up on the DB room. I mean, obviously, you mentioned Brian, best corner in the ACC, and Dorian Strong. And probably, I mean, it is – you can make Just Cause the best duo in the ACC with him and Mansour. I definitely think they are a top 20 duo in the country. I think they're a top 20 duo in the country straight up. But I think it's also because we saw Lovett play last year and we saw Braylon play. And it's like these guys are holding up. They're true freshmen. Their bodies are already ready. And then to add on top of that, we heard the name Christian Williams that came out of Coach's mouth a couple days ago. Hadn't heard that name, so he clearly did something there. And then Joshua Clark. And we saw Joshua Clark on field of spring ball. We saw that, like, okay, this kid can play.
And Curtis, guess what?
What? Did I miss somebody?
No, you didn't miss nobody, but we didn't even mention, look who they're going against in practice every day.
Oh, yeah. Iron sharpening iron, baby.
Look who they going against in practice every day. You got to go against that wide receiver room. You better be getting better, or you're going to have to transfer to Blue Valley State or whatever the place is. Norfolk State, something, I don't know. You got to go somewhere to play if you playing against them and they make you look silly and you ain't getting no better every day. So, I mean, when you're going against top wide receivers and NFL caliber players, that's what you want. So,
yep,
100%. All right. Well, our UVA fan is asking here, do we have game-by-game predictions before the season starts? Well, guess what? That is coming up after the break with our sponsor from Main Street Pharmacy.
I can probably save you a lot of money, and I can take a lot better care of you. That's pretty much it. My name is Jeremy Counts, and I'm a pharmacist. I own and operate Main Street Pharmacy here in downtown Blacksburg. My brother's a pharmacist, I'm a pharmacist, my uncle's a pharmacist, my dad's a pharmacist. I remember he would give me M&Ms to count in little pill counters. This is just something I've always done, and I'm just lucky that what I know so well is something that I can do and feel good about it and give back to people. Pharmacies are your frontline defense. Pharmacy's job is to make sure you're getting optimal care for the lowest price possible. Also, we take the pressure off of emergency rooms. I'll tell people immediately when they need to go to the doctor, or I'll tell them if they just need a cream over the counter. If there's something that isn't commercially available, if it's something that's not available in a certain strength or a certain form or anything like that, we'll make it. Tailor-made medications. Some of those options save people a lot of money. What motivates me? I get to take care of people and live in Blacksburg.
Brooks Running reminds us that we're all powered by something. Whether it's the me-time energy of a run after a day at the office, the electrifying energy of your first marathon, or the infectious energy of a group run with your friends. No matter what energy powers you, Brooks has gear specifically designed to unleash it. So lace up and let it out. Let's run there. Visit brooksrunning.com today to learn more.
Shaq here, spinning fast-acting pain relief with Icy Hot. Ice works fast, heat makes it last. Icy Hot, you're so back.
That's all I need.
All righty, we are back, and now it is time that we made our season predictions. By the way, I got to call Thomas out here. Thomas, 15-0 don't work no more, bro. You got to be 16-0 to win a national championship. 15-0 don't get you there anymore because you got to win the ACC. Then you got to win your first playoff game, your second playoff game, then the national finals. So 15-0 don't work. I'll let you edit that to 16. But let's get it going here. We did this last year. We're taking it 4 games at a time from the beginning all the way to the end. Let's just go ahead and throw this out. Sheldon could not be here tonight. He's doing some traveling, couldn't jump it on. So for these first 4 games, Shelton Moss, our esteemed colleague, is saying 4-0. 4-0. All right, I'm going to lead this segment off because I'm going to let y'all have the last 2 segments. I am agreeing with Shelton. I do think we are going to go 4-0 in the first 4 games. I think the first 3 opponents, I don't think there is much to say about that, right? You know, you look at who you're playing, you feel we are significantly better on them. We would have to play literally the worst fucking game of the season to lose to those teams. Now, the Rutgers game is going to be a game, though. But they've made the mistake of getting rid of the running quarterback, and they have the unfortunate pleasure of playing at Lane Stadium. Now, okay, I'm going to answer Grayson's questions real quick here. The one that worries me the most of the first 4 is Rutgers, straight up. So that's where I am. 4-0 out the gate, and that's why. I'm going to let Tally go next. So, Tally?
So, I will say, y'all making me do this. I don't want to even do this year. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want
to call in
pick nothing. I don't want to pick nothing. I just want to go and pay attention. But if I got to do it, because Curtis has got a saw contraption back here, it's tied to my toe that's going to blow my toe off if I don't make a selection. I'll say 4-0 on that first 4 games. I will say, to Grayson's question, he said, what game worries me the most out of the first 4? I'm probably going to say ODU. Okay. I'm not that worried about Vandy for whatever. That going to ODU thing kind of blows me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna say we're gonna lose, but it kind of worries me a little bit going down there. Elevators getting messed up and stealing stuff and all that kind of crazy stuff happened. Like emotions may run high. And then that Rutgers game, I think Rutgers just lost their starting linebacker or something like that.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they just lost somebody. Yeah, they just lost. I think it's their starting middle linebacker. They just lost. But if I am worried about the Rutgers game, like Curtis said, being at home helps, all that. Rutgers is going to be a very physical game. So that'll take me into the next 4 when we talk about them. I think the Rutgers game gives us a little bit of headache going to the next game. I think we win that game, but I think it's going to give us a headache going to the next games. So 4-0 in the first 4.
4-0. Brian Siegler, first 4, and then answer Mr. Winbush's question here.
Hey, we're a clean sweep here, man. We're a clean sweep. I got 4-0 out the gate. The Rutgers game is definitely the one that worries me the most. It's actually worrying me less than it did before they named their starting quarterback and got the information about their linebacker. But that's a team that is very well coached. While they don't necessarily have the best roster, they don't have a whole lot of glaring holes in their roster. So it's a team that is going to give you 4 quarters of football every time you play them. And that's where you hope you don't have one of those first or second quarters where you kind of sleepwalk and all of a sudden you're down 10 and you're playing from behind against a physical team. That's what you don't want. But I think we still come out on top in that game. And to Tally's point, I think that game definitely plays a factor in our October. But I do still think we come out on top in that one.
All right. We are now going to flip it to October. I know I got some people out here putting this up. Rutgers going to be stiff. I agree. Now we got the middle 4. And this is the late September through October. I'm going to throw Sheldon up first. Sheldon says we're going to go 500 during this stretch with losses to Miami and to Georgia Tech. So he's bookending losses at the late September and late October. Tally, because you already kind of let it in there, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2. I'm gonna go 2-2 as well. I'm not gonna pick though because I don't know what games to pick on them. But I'm gonna say we'll go 500 on that just because of the travel time that we'll be going through. And then coming off those first 4 games, Rutgers being a very physical game. You don't never want to think about injuries, but it's football. Yeah. What happens? Do we have any of that? I think we're going to go down there and beat Miami, though. I'll say that. You can pick whatever other 2 losses you want. Okay. I think that we're going to have a vendetta that game. I think we're going to go beat Miami, and I may change some stuff later on, but right now I'm going to say 2-2.
You're picking that Miami. You're picking that like struggle game against Rutgers, revenge game against Miami, and then maybe that letdown, overlooked game against Stanford in that West Coast travel.
I don't want to say it, but
Robbie got in his head. Robbie got in his head last week talking about the damn bye week shit. Robbie got in your head, didn't he?
Fuck Robbie, man. Why you do that to me?
You love Robbie. You know you do. Can't wait till
Robbie.
You meet him. That's it. Okay. Brian, go ahead. Tally's at 2-2 in the middle 4.
I'm at 2-2 as well.
Okay.
I'm getting there basically the same way Sheldon got there. I could talk myself into 3-1 here. So just a full disclosure, I could talk myself into 3-1. If we weren't playing Miami at Miami coming off of Rutgers, I would give us a good shot in that game. I think just those factors at play there. And I think to Tally's point, if we beat Rutgers and beat Miami, that Stanford game would be a prime letdown game. But I think with a loss to Miami, you're gonna circle the wagons a little bit, get back on track, knock off Stanford before you hit the bye, go out and pound the fuck out of BC. I think Georgia Tech is going to be one of those, kind of weird games that we always run into. I was looking at that game and looking at another game that kind of leads off the Final Four is is that going to be that one game that we lose that we maybe shouldn't? That's kind of where I'm at with those. And I went back to Georgia Tech on that one. So let me get Georgia Tech and Miami losses 2-2 in the second 4.
All right. Y'all 2-2, Sheldon 2-2, Tally 2-2. I am not 2-2. I am walking in here and I am saying we are going 3-1 in these next 4. But I am agreeing with you, Brian. I think the loss is going to come to Miami because I think that Rutgers game is going to be physical. It's a short week for us. Now, let's see. Can I change my mind? Can we change our minds? We do weekly predictions? Hell yeah, we can.
Right.
Because Miami's also.
This is based on right now information.
Right
Once
now,
we get more information,
it's going to change after the first week.
We're
going to go beat the fuck out of. We're going to go beat the fuck out of Vanderbilt, and people are going to say we're going to win the national championship.
There you go.
So yeah, it's going to change.
It's 3-1, but because it's what these guys are alluding to. That Rutgers game is going to be physical. If it was a Saturday, I think I could convince myself we could go down there and beat them. But unfortunately, it's a Friday night, so it's a short week. It's a flip back. Why do I think we're going to win the other 3? Because I think after that loss, I think it's going to be close, and I think it's going to be one of those things. They're going to be like, let's go to California. Let's stomp down the smart kids. Let's get our break, and let's go stomp down these other 2 kids. Because I think BC doesn't have a shot. BC really does not have a shot. They're rebuilding. They're trying to flip their offense to a Bill O'Brien type offense, which, again, I'm fine. Bill O'Brien type offenses, I think we can handle that. And then Georgia Tech, they scare me, but it's something that Thomas put up.
Oh, yeah, Thomas all on
I want to put that on there. I'm with him, and this is why I think we beat Georgia Tech. I don't think they have the depth. I don't think they have enough to handle us beginning to end. So we'd have to do what Brian said. We'd have to sleepwalk through a half to lose Georgia, a half of football to lose to Georgia Tech. So I am 3-1. All righty. We've made it to the last 4 games of the season, and I'm going to throw it up here before I kick to Brian. Shelton has us going 3-1 in the last 4 games, and he is saying we are going to take an L at Clemson or to Clemson. Brian Siegler, where are you standing on this?
I am also 3-1 with a loss to Clemson. I think we actually go and handle our business in the Dome. That's going to be a kind of a game that sets up the next week, though. I feel like that is going to be a little bit of a battle, and I think we're going to come around, even though it's a home game. I think we're going to give Clemson every damn thing they want, but I don't think we quite get it closed out in the end. I think we go and pound Duke pretty good. I don't think they're going to be a very good team this year.
Pause, man.
Pause.
You said we're gonna go pound Duke. That's kind of, hold on. Man.
Let's do it. All right, we're gonna go take it to Duke.
That's pretty rough too.
All right, Brian is at 3-1 in the last,
and UVA is gonna be UVA. I mean, we got them at home. We saw what we did at Lane Stadium North. It's only gonna get uglier at Lane Stadium.
All right, Tally.
I got 2-2 here. Okay. And I'm gonna just go ahead and tell y'all, I can never pick us to win in that fucking dome until we win. I think we got. I mean, I don't know. I ain't looking at people's rosters like that for real so far. But from what I've seen, I think we got a better setup than Syracuse because they got a brand new coach. I always give coaches kind of like prize year. Like you got to have that year where you get acclimated to the school. Unless you just had a dynamite takeover and, you know, you're just going out and beating the fuck out of people. Like, I don't see Syracuse being that kind of team. But I can never pick us to go to that dome and do what we're supposed to do, no matter what the record is. So that's one of my losses. And then it's going to be a toss-up between Duke and Clemson, to be honest with you, for me. That's just what I had. I can't pick which one. There may be a letdown, but we're not losing to UVA. I'll go ahead and say that. So I said 2-2. Cuse in one of those schools would be a loss if we did it. But again, looking at the record, looking at the games, the schedule, that's gonna change real quick, depending on what we do that first week and second week. So,
all right. Couple things. I'm gonna throw before I make my final picks here. I'm gonna just throw a couple things about numerous pieces. That's why Thomas says also they have a shitty defense. So y'all picking
they
them?
Do. He's right. He's not wrong.
The building of Chris Lester right here is next. Chris says 4-0.
Yeah, Chris said 8-0.
Hey,
if we get to 8-0,
Chris is building towards an 11-win season. So
if we get to 8-0, no matter who we play next, in those 8 weeks, there's going to be some people suspended off of X or Twitter, whatever you call it. I promise you, the universe don't want to see Virginia Tech be 8-0 because some of y'all already be a little bit too wild, and I'm saying that, Jeremy. But if we get to 8-0. I'm reporting some of y'all motherfuckers. Because y'all gonna be acting up.
Oh God. I got a couple more to hit here. Grayson. He got this. He got that. Thomas making a point. We've only played up there 2 times in the last 20 years or so. Actually, yeah, it's been 2 times in the past 20 years. All right, so I'm sitting here and y'all gonna probably think I'm crazy because y'all thought I was fucking crazy last year, and I'm just gonna put it.
Curtis, we know you're crazy.
You just had a bit called a dirty bastard. Like, yeah, you kind of crazy.
There you go, Founders Brewer. If you want to sponsor us, we'll be the dirty bastards over here. But I'm sitting here and I'm just freewheeling. I told y'all 8 wins last year if we started the right quarterback, and I think if we had started the right quarterback last year, we would have won 8 games. I don't doubt that one bit. I think this year we are starting the right quarterback. We have a veteran offensive line. They may not be the best, but they're growing. We have a deep wide receiver room. We have a 1-2 back punch. Tight end room could get better, but at least it's some veterans. At least I'm not dealing with a tight end room that is a bunch of young guys. They've all played significant reps. And the defensive side of the ball, that last year in certain games, it just felt like old times. It felt like old times where we were just knocking the shit out of people, sacking at will. So as I get here to these last 4 games, we have not won in the Dome in 26 years. 26 years. It was 1998.
Damn.
Dwight Vick was a senior. Al Clark was a quarterback. It's the last time we won. And if you don't recall, if y'all remember NCAA back in the day used to have the craziest games, that was one of them. Was the 98 game that we won was one of them. I think they snapped that because I think it's what Chris Lester said right here. Where's Chris at? I saw it. These kids don't know about that dome. It's not up here for them. And then I sit and look at the other 3 games, the 2 at the back end. I think it'd be funny as hell if we got Manny Diaz fired his first year, Duke. I'd laugh my ass off at that. And UVA, we see where they are. They are a mess. And then you look at Clemson. And 13 years ago, we sat there, right? We could not do jack shit offensively. There are certain people in the Virginia Tech community that swears to God they had our playbook on both sides. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But that was the turning point of the program. It's where we've been for 13 years. We've been wanting to get back there, right? We saw a glimpse of it in 2016 and 2017. I think it's time they flip the script. They beat Clemson. 7-1 in conference will get us to the ACC title game. Y'all just heard it. Yep. Do the math. Do the math of what I just did.
Is that 11-1?
It's 11-1. And I have 2 thoughts for the ACC title game. And I know some people probably laughing at me in the comments. But here's my thought on that. One of 2 things is going to happen to Miami after they beat us. Either they are not going to lose a game, or they are going to fall apart because they don't get their damn head so big. So either they're going to be 12-0 in that game, or we're going to be playing Florida State and they're going to be 11-1.
So it's the latter because, yeah, they're not going to be a stable and capable program for 12 games in a row. So,
and Thomas, I'm gonna completely. If you ever seen Grayson McCall play, he ain't all it's cracked up to be. Everybody likes NC State because of Grayson McCall. Grayson McCall plays a couple teams down at Coastal. He ain't that good. He's been less since Jamie Chadwell left. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I'm at 11-1. Tally is at 8-4. Brian's at 9-3, and Shelton is at 9-3. So, write it down. But I like what Tally said. We're gonna be changing our minds all throughout this. And if I drink too much,
that's what it is. I mean, you got to. That's what it's about. So, I don't know, man. I'm excited though. I can say that. I can see. I can see. I don't see 6-6. I can see Curtis's. I can see Curtis's 11-1. You know what I'm saying? More than
I can see 11-1 before I can see 6-6, barring catastrophic injuries to a significant portion of the roster.
Right. So, I mean, I'm excited. I think that this is going to be a fun year. And again, if it does happen, I will say, I have been saying for the last couple of years, I don't know everything, but I know just about everything. So y'all need to listen to me.
All right.
You lose by a lot, you lose by a little. You win by a little, then you win by a lot. I think this is our year that we win by a lot. Because last year, I still feel like that was we won by a little, even though we won by a lot. But I'm saying those games were still kind of competitive. I think we just go in here and we just beat people this year. And once I see us actually do that a couple of times, y'all know I'm going to get on here and start acting crazy. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to get on here and start wearing masks. I told y'all I was gonna get a tattoo.
We did that last year though. We had masks on for Halloween.
Man, I told y'all I was gonna get a tattoo. What I say I was gonna get a tattoo if we do?
You did. You said
ACC. That's an ACC.
I don't remember.
I can't remember. Matter of fact, don't remember it. Don't nobody even think about it because I don't want to do it.
Y'all go back and find
all the old episodes.
Y'all go back and find it.
I can't even remember what I said.
Was that stated in the program?
I can't remember. I said I'd get a tattoo if we do something, but whatever that is. We need to do it, but nobody remember it. So
I think you said if we make the ACC championship game, you're gonna get a tattoo,
something like that. But I'm excited, man. What Andretti say? Oh, he said we need to put our foot on ODU's something.
Oh, he was being nice.
Is that fart box? What is that? What's that supposed to be?
Yeah, we need to
spell it out for me, Andretti.
we do need to go down and do something crazy to ODU.
Andretti ain't trying to get
kicked off of YouTube.
Ain't trying to get kicked off of YouTube. All righty. All right. So there's the predictions. Write them down. Do whatever. I mean, we do this shit for fun, y'all. It's fun to sit here when I said this is what we're gonna do, guys. Think about it. It's up. First of all, that's what he meant right there. Oh, Andretti, we love you, man. We love you, man. Thank you for being back. Remember, we're on Tuesday nights about 9:00. Take a break from the game and come listen to us. We enjoy your stuff, man. So, all right, real quick. So before we wrap up everything tonight, we're going to do big screeners because there's 2 games to watch this weekend. We already talked about them at the top of the program. We're going to make predictions.
We're going to have some fun graphics for you next week when we actually have games we're picking. We're just going to talk about it this week.
And our goal, our hope is unveiling a new part of big screeners. We ain't going to tell y'all what that is yet, but it's going to be a lot of fun with somebody we know very well. All right. Georgia Tech, Florida State. Florida State, the current line is -10. That's down 2.5 points since last Friday when I looked at it. Which one of y'all want to predict this one first?
Take Georgia Tech.
Take the money? Take the points?
Take the points.
Take the points.
I don't know if they win, but I'd take the points. That line going down for a reason.
Yeah, if that line was like 8.5, I think I'd be right on it. But given the full 10, that's tough to take.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. I feel like this is one of those trick games because you feel like 10-14 is the right number, right? By the way, Virginia Tech show, you are right. It was 2000. It was Michael Vick the last time that won there. So the last time we won, there were 2 Vicks on the team. That's a long ass time ago. Right? Like 10 is that number, right? 10 is the perfect number for this game because you feel like it's going to be about 10 points. So does Georgia Tech fuck it up in the end and give like a cheap one away? I don't think they won't because I think Brent Key, if you watched him play Georgia last year, he plays them a little closer to the vest because he had nothing to lose in that game. And he should have went for some more risk, but he didn't. I'm with y'all. Georgia Tech, take the points. Plus it's in Ireland. All that weird time and shit. You don't know what's going to happen. Weird stadium. All right, next one. New ACC member SMU travels to Reno, Nevada to play to the Wolfpack of Nevada. This is a tougher one. SMU, 25.5 points they are laying.
Wolfpack. That's a lot of points, man.
That's a lot of points. Like,
I don't care who it is.
Why is that even a number? 25.5. That ain't even a number.
You know why that's a number?
The only cool 25 that was Barry Bonds. Like 25 is not a number that I want to roll with.
I'll take SMU in the points. You know why? Y'all know how many points Nevada averaged last year on offense?
How many?
Like 17. Y'all know how much y'all saw SMU play a few times last year. They can score. I think that's like a 56-14 game. If it's not, I think it's an absolute blowout. SMU's got some cooking. I also think I don't think that's a game we can gauge SMU by. Even if they blow the doors off them, it's a bad game. Now, if they struggle with them, that'll tell us more than anything. That first game, I think it's going to tell us about those teams a lot. So, yeah.
I think so. It's hard to really gauge a ton on the first game, but I think if you see SMU go out there and it's a really close game, like less than 2 scores,
they're going to struggle.
You can derive something from that. I think anything. I don't think they have to cover for you to say that SMU is as we expected. But I think if it is in that like 10 to 14 point range for a win, or, God forbid they go out there and, lay an egg and lose, I think that'll tell us more than a blowout or just, somewhere plus or minus 5 from that spread.
Yeah, I think SMU probably, if I had to look at it, week 1, defenses usually are a little bit further along than offenses. I would think SMU probably would win that game by about 21 points. but I would be scared to say they're going to win by 26. 4 touchdowns. I don't know. So
all right.
I'm taking the Wolfpack.
What about that first game? What are we going to learn from it? What do y'all think we learn about those teams? Because I think I wish that would have just been a stateside game, because that noon kick is just brutal.
The location, I think, in time kind of screws with the logistics, because both teams are having abnormal logistics, and that's not just like standard stateside neutral site logistics. Like you're taking cross pond flights, you're playing at a completely different time. Like you're basically playing, how many was it? 8 hours behind, 7 hours behind.
Yeah.
7. 7.
So it's a completely different way of managing an away game or a neutral site game than if it would be here. Even if you're playing, out at the Rose Bowl or something. I mean, it's still a completely different scenario for them to manage. So it's going to be interesting to see who ends up doing well in that game. I don't think you can derive a whole lot from it other than kind of seeing where the holes are in each of those teams, whether it's, certain position groups and things like that. I think that's where you'll kind of see the most that you can take away and, move into another week and say, all right, well, we saw holes here, we saw holes there.
I'm just interested to see what Florida State looks like. Like, they really have to revamp who they are. They lost, not saying they can't, but we kind of seen how Norvell did when he got there, how he built it up. He wasn't just like a flash in the pan coach. Like, it took him a couple of years to get it to where he wanted. And then those players that he brought in, some of them are in the league now. The quarterback that he built that program on, his program on. The wide receivers that he brought in, things like that. And I'm not saying that he didn't bring in more good players. I don't know that roster that great to know. But I will say, I'm not as high on Florida State as I was last year. I just feel like, looking at him from what he's done in the past, he looks like a coach that he'll build up a little bit more than, okay, I'm just going to retool.
That will tell the story, and I think that game will tell the story about both those teams and how we can project them going forward. So, yeah. All right, anything else out there? Anything breaking?
Not that I know of.
Nothing yet, man. Nothing yet.
All right.
Somebody call Funtel, see if he got any more recruits. He getting fucking 2 wide receivers a week, so call him and see how he doing tonight.
I ain't doing that. That man's in camp. That man probably still in the office right now working.
Right.
You watching practice tape for tomorrow.
You damn right he is. All right. Well, folks, week 0. And that wraps up this episode of the Boundary Corner podcast, brought to you by Main Street Pharmacy in Blacksburg. I'm Curtis Wilson.
Brian Siegler.
Jonathan Talley.
Visit the BoundaryCornerVT.com website to listen to all of our episodes. Check the merchandise shop. Subscribe to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all the podcast sources, all that stuff. Our buddy Jason Long down in the Roanoke Valley, he plays us in every week. He plays us out every week. Check out his website, jasonlongmusic.com, to check out all of his live events. I know he's got multiple things going on this week. What does he have going on this week? He'll be at the Farmers Market Saturday. So check him out down there. He was down at the Village Grill last week. I don't know how that – well, we did 3 hours. That's why I didn't get to mention it last week. Spotify, YouTube channel for Jason, his Facebook pages. Check him out there. We thank y'all for listening. Thanks for all the comments in the chat tonight. Really appreciate y'all out there. And as always, let's go.
Hokies.